Good afternoon, everyone. We got Mr. ER, Eric, and Peanut with us.
Woohoo!
So I thought we would do some kind of lake files every Friday afternoon. Time is subject to change. But I think this is going to be definitely a place in this channel on Friday afternoons for definite. So if I skip one, I skip one, but I'm really going to try to keep doing this every Friday. Let's see if that sticks, right? So how you guys doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I got a new bird.
Good. Hi, Vester. Hi, Rose. Miss Ginger Ninja. Chris Pyatt. B. Mitch. Watt Life. And well, Eric's up on panel now. And Vester. Hi, Vester. So we're going to give a few minutes to get some people in here, but I'm going to have some questions for you guys on panel.
All right. I know, right?
Okay, so first of all, I do have a banner. I do not pay for StreamYard anymore. If I was smarter and thought today, and there I go, my computer is locking up because I've got an extreme amount of tabs at the top. So I actually may cut my camera to see if it might work better. Hi, Arc Wildman. So some of the content may not be suitable for all viewers. And I put that up because...
All right, Eric, you can't watch.
One of the things I'm going to be talking about, even though this is an adult channel, some adults may have an issue with some of the content. So I did that just to kind of protect the channel and state the fact that this live chat is based on opinions and research, some of which is fact, and also unfound mysteries. Dun, dun, dun.
Are you sure Eric can watch? I don't think Eric is like mature enough for this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I guess we gotta turn it before.
I was teasing Eric.
I know.
Almost 3 months ago, the YouTube has it set as 2 months ago, but it was almost 3 months ago. I put out a video about, and this is not what this whole live is about, by the way. There's a much bigger subject. But almost 3 months ago, I put out a video about the cicadas, warning people that they're going to be coming from, resurfacing from underground up to live amongst us for many months. And in some places, I think this might already be happening, but I have not researched to see any video or anything like that. Hello, Miss Jennifer. And the cicadas I had mentioned in that video, I see a fungus among us happening with us. And I actually giggled a bit, but I'm also sad that I was correct. I had a feeling. And of course, it has to do with zombies. And not the real zombies, not anything that's going to eat your brains. So this fungus, and I'm going to have to be really careful here. I'm going to stop my camera because I keep glitching here in a minute. I have so many tabs that my computer is running super slow between tabs. So if I freeze, let me, if my voice freezes. All right, so according to this professor, Kaysen, speaking to certain news outlets, the fungus causes these insects, these cicadas. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This fungus is going to cause these insects to show hypersexual behavior.
Intriguing. You had me
with a chalky white plug. Yeah, with a chalky white plug erupting from their bodies and taking over their brains, causing their genitals to fall off in parts of Southeast and Midwest.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would that involve like a cheap stay at a motel or something?
So will these fungus-infected zombie cicadas spread? The chalky substance that comes out of their bodies will then act as a puppet master by releasing a surge of adrenaline that will allow the males to pass the infection on to females through sex. Experts are concerned about the hypersexualized behavior during this time. So what happens is the males will try to mate with females, but what's going to happen because of the fungus and where it's located on the bodies of the cicadas, the male cicadas are actually going to sound like female cicadas. Therefore, male cicadas making a female sound are going to be attracting other male cicadas in a hypersexual way.
Ew.
Wow.
And what's going to happen is because the cicadas obviously cannot mate other male cicadas, they're going to try, and then they're going to go on to the next cicada, which will also be a female perhaps, or another male, picking up the fungus and therefore infecting the next cicada with this fungus that it comes in contact with.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have a problem here.
Yeah. So what you guys think about that?
Is that normal? Or
so
is that like...
I will be honest, what I thought is that, I mean, I wouldn't say that's normal, but I didn't expect that when I saw and felt a fungus coming up with these cicadas 3 months ago. Yeah.
Man, that's freaky. So like, is that does that happen every year or every 10 years?
Well, every year we get cicadas.
Yeah.
Every year we get cicadas. I'm trying to get rid of some of these tabs off my computer, and it's not even closing out. I'm having a super hard time with my computer. It's locking up. So I'm trying to get rid of tabs, but it's so slow that it's not even letting me get rid of tabs, and I can't even get back to my StreamYard to see chat. Plus, we have thunderstorms in the area. Let me see. So in my video 3 months ago, and I keep saying 3 months ago, even though YouTube says 2, it's been almost 3 months. It's not hundreds or thousands or millions. It's trillions of these cicadas this year will emerge between April and July. They're going to emerge across several U.S. states this spring. So they're calling it Cicada-geddon. What is unique about particular brood of cicadas is that this is the first time. All right, so one brood comes out every 13 years and the other one comes out every 17 years. So I think it's been 221 years since this, or maybe it was 400 years. I think it might have been 400 years. The broods XIX and the brood XIII are going to appear together for the first time in like a really long time. Okay.
Right.
That's what makes this brood unique to this year. So, and then the bizarre fungus that has gone underneath with them. Yeah. So like I said, they're gonna, let me see if I can't share my screen here. So I can show you guys what this fungus looks like. Oh, there's Bushcraft. Hi.
Hello.
How long you been stuck back there?
Oh, it's okay.
I'm sorry. I was on the other screen. All right. Back to hypersexual activity, zombie activity. Let me present this. As I go, things should get better because these tabs will come down and things will get a little, okay, a little faster on my laptop. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, so that's
Oh.
where the fungus is going to be on many of these cicadas. And again, this hypersexual zombie fungus that clicks into their brains, making this fungus a puppet master, giving the driving force of these cicadas. They're going to go into a hypersexual activity. And because of where that is located, okay, this is your fungus, where that is located, I'm sorry about these ads, that is going to make male cicadas sound like females, attracting other males to it.
Like a prison love.
So they come from California.
So, and again, sorry about these ads.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's still unclear. A lot of this is still unclear, but you know, we're going to be finding out what's going to happen. So, when the soil reaches 64 degrees, this is when these cicadas are going to be out like crazy, like a bunch of.
I'm more
And
worried.
if no one knows, you're worried about what?
The birds, after the birds eat them.
Right. So a lot of animals actually eat these. Raccoons, possums. I mean, anything that eats bugs. Bears have even been to known. And then, I mean, is everything going to go into a hypersexual activity? Like, are they all going to have this fungus, zombie fungus, like a puppet master? I mean, and then they don't have any proof that it can affect other wildlife or humans. But Kaysen did say in his research, he's observed thousands of compounds in affected cicadas, and some could be toxic.
Yesterday.
So snakes, birds, yeah, says it right here. So we know a lot of animals are gobbling these cicadas up as they're merging. Snakes, birds, it is possible they're having an effect on the animal that they eat, ? That is a question. He says, yes, it is possible, but he said less than 5% of the cicadas are infected with a fungus, and researchers have yet to observe any impact on any other wildlife. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Yeah, that's what. Hopefully, it doesn't affect them. You know, because it could affect the whole food chain.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for this to drop down again. There we go. Boy, oh boy.
Wonder what caused it. Like, is it like man-made, like something? Wonder what caused it. Like, is it something that someone purposely released? Hey, what? Like into the air, or like did it come from just some natural thing in nature, or?
Yeah, I guess this has been around long enough where they know what it is. They know what it is, but this is again something to the XIX and the XIII coming up together in these two broods. And then there's another thing too, where these two broods have never been out before for hundreds of years, so they're going to mate together. What kind of cicada are they going to make? Hi, Donalati. Angry Wreck-It Ralph, Dharma Agent, Mr. Camo Carl, and Mike B. Good afternoon. So yeah, I found that.
Ninja cicada?
What?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Cicadas.
Yeah. They're gonna go.
Let's coin that.
How are you doing, Watt? How you doing, Bushcraft?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I was looking at. It said that these two particular broods, or I guess species of cicadas, haven't emerged at the same time since Thomas Jefferson was president, they say.
It was like 400 years, yeah. Hi, Scion Race. Will affect those human. Yeah, right. I mean, we don't know.
That's what they. It's a century thing, is what they were saying. And then it hasn't been for a long time.
We need to get Jeff up here. He's the only one that was alive when this happened last time.
And hello to my husband, who was probably on his way home from work. The triple X cicada, exactly.
That
I
sounds
like
like a bar.
Sounds like a bar in Florida.
Bigfoot has clear air down there.
3 cicada walk into a bar.
We actually have one here named Mermaids. That Peanut would like that.
Oh yeah, that goes with the murky thing. The murky thing.
I have a legitimate question. What if this is true and the males are going to be calling males?
Right.
Is that going to like screw up their who do they identify as? If they're
what's going to happen is that their sexual reproduction organs are actually going to fall off in the process. So there's going to be less cicadas going back into the ground because a lot of these cicadas mating with each other is just not going to pan out.
Okay.
Right. So can bearded dragons eat cicadas? They can, but I'm not feeding any to ours.
No.
Are you sure those cicadas aren't from San Francisco?
Well, there are certain states where they're gonna be, but I think it was it Illinois? And I don't remember all the states, so I'd have to go back.
It's like the big triangle, like all the way from Illinois all the way down to northern Georgia to Atlanta.
Pretty big part of the country.
Yeah, you can see the map. They actually got maps of where it's supposed to be really bad.
I don't think they're in California. I think it's like because I remember they were in I think Michigan. In Michigan, they were there, and then Lake, you've told me they've been in New York before, right?
Yeah, we get cicadas every year, but like in your own yard, you may hear like 1 to 3 to 5, or you might just see one, or you just hear them. Good afternoon, Miss Lori and Dave and Mima. But this is going to be out, like this isn't 1 or 100 or thousands or millions. This is in the trillions. This is going to be a major sound problem, because back like almost 3 months ago when I made that video, I told people to mentally prepare to get ready for the sound. If anyone knows what a couple of cicadas sound like, it can be super annoying. If you've ever watched Ark Wildman's videos, you can hear some of them in the background, but amplify that to trillions.
I've been preparing for this for years. My ears ring every day.
Yeah, I have tinnitus too. Yep. And it doesn't just affect your ear. It actually can affect like your brain, because it's a brain ear phantom sound that your brain makes this humming noise because it gets confused with the signal.
Mine's not though. Mine's from
I'm just the tinnitus part of it.
Yeah.
But then there's like where I have like negative pressure, and I have other things like scarring and Meniere's and different brain to ear to body function parts. So yeah, if you're already hearing the humming, which a few years ago, anyone who got doctors are finding, and again, I'm not a medical professional and I do not mean to put out any medical disinformation. This is not my intentions. This is only my findings here from speaking to doctors when I go myself. The doctors, including my own, have found that there's an uptick the past few years of people getting ringing in their ears after falling ill to the thing that we've been dealing with the past few years.
I had mine way before that.
Me too. I've dealt with mine. I mean, I've got scarring in my ears, and I've got the bones in my ears, mainly my left. The bones are actually deteriorating through degenerative disease. So
I've seen videos of them. They're like at a 7-Eleven or something. They're just swarming. Like there's so many of them. you can't have to step on some of them or squish them when you're trying to open the door, and they're all in the store, right? It's kind of like almost biblical looking, like what you expect from like a plague or something.
Well, a lot of people mistake them. They mistake or cicadas with locusts.
Right. They're two different things.
Totally different thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they look similar to get an idea of what they appear
Well,
like.
Cicadas look more like an overgrown fly, and your
Mhm.
locusts look like an overgrown grasshopper. Cicadas
Yeah.
will not take out thousands of miles of vegetation. Cicadas will not do that. Your locusts will.
Well, I mean, like visually, like what it looks like to see a swarm of something. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah. The skins stick to everything. Yeah. There's like this cicada casings. They crunch on the ground as you walk if you're in areas where there's a lot of them. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll see them stuck to the side of my brick on the side of the house. They'll be all over the side of it whenever they latch on and I guess molt.
Yep. At the bases of trees, on sidewalks, over
Yep.
when they have the sidewalks or roads where there's canopies of trees. It's going to be a rotten mess.
oh, like they leave their skins behind, like lizards and stuff.
They molt. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So they molt and then they climb up a tree. Like we always find it on one of the backyard trees, and they sit there until they dry their wings. Their wings look very iridescent, and then they dry them off, and then they fly away and make this horrendous noise. That noise you're hearing is a mating call. And anyone who's coming in late, the male cicadas, 5% of them are infected with a zombie virus. It's a fungus, and the fungus actually grows out of them and in their abdomen part. So when a male cicada makes a noise and calling the female, they're actually going to be mimicking a female calling another male. So that's going to pose as an issue with the breeding issues. And then this fungus causes their sexual reproductive organs to fall off in some cases. Doesn't mean all of them will. Some of them will be successful in mating later with a female. But unfortunately, these 5% are going to be infecting, and then the process goes on. Yep.
Do you have any idea where the fungus came from?
No, I don't. Hundreds of years ago.
Oh, it's been that long? Oh, it's not like a new thing. The fungus has been here for like a long time.
Oh yeah,
It's
like the fungus on an African ant that turns it into a zombie ant.
Right. So unfortunately,
I think I've heard about those.
I had a bunch of tabs open on my laptop, but I had to go and close most of them because of my laptop running slow. So I'm going to go to my phone to get into the lake files and go to my emails to get the rest of these, because the next thing that I wanted to talk about with you guys is a little bit as if, puppet master fungus, zombie fungus wasn't enough. By the way, it's raining today, and we've got storms and thunder and lightning strikes. And have you guys heard about a place called Oakville, Washington State?
No.
Yes.
You have? Okay. And there's been something going on there. And one of the bigger, more well-known accounts was from August 7th, 1994. And there was a bunch of storms in that area. In Oakville, there was a rainstorm that looked thick. And there was this one family in particular that was affected by this blob falling from the sky. There was this small gelatinous blob substance. No, it wasn't spam gel. Hi, PNW. Yeah, so it wasn't spam gel. Does anyone know what this gooey mystery is?
Gooey mystery. So it was like
What
a
state did you
gel.
say? Washington State?
Yep.
Was it like cat goo? Probably cat goo, right, Eric? It's like psychotic cat goo that like it emits from that species.
Yeah, like the litter box stuff where if it gets wet, it gets all yucky and sticky.
Yeah, kind of like that. Exactly.
Yeah. Ectoplasma. No, it wasn't that either. So, yeah. There was a woman, they called her Sunny, and her name is Sonia Barcliffe. And her mom, Dottie Hearn, Sunny's mom, was out. So all night it rained. And the next day, she finally got the dogs out, even though it was still raining. But she got the dogs out, and she said that to her daughter that there was this weird, like hail looking stuff on top of the roof of the wood box. She said, but upon touching it, it felt soft. So she was out there, she touched it. She thought it was hail. And her daughter went out and got some of the substance and put it in a container. And it was like jelly-like. She didn't touch it, though. Her mom did, but she didn't. And this stuff apparently was falling from the sky with the rain. There was a police officer who was driving with the stuff hit his windshield. This happened in 1994, August 7th. So they took the dogs out, and there was a soft gel out there. And the next day, the mother, Dottie, she fell ill to like flu-like symptoms. She was dizzy. She had like a vertigo, and she felt nauseous. So of course, her son and her daughter being Sonia, took her to the hospital because they were worried about this goo-like substance. She was the only one that touched it. So they get to the hospital, and the daughter decided to bring some of the substance into the hospital for testing because she really felt like this is what happened. So the mom spent a few days in the hospital, by the way, with other things going on with this flu-like symptoms. Meanwhile, they found out other people in the same town also were there being treated for some kind of flu-like, virus-like symptoms, and the doctors had no idea. So it was just everyone was released a few days later. Most were released a few days later with a virus it was unknown, some kind of virus. So like I said, I had a bunch of tabs up here, but I had to get rid of them. So the hospital, there was this doctor, David Little. He come back to Sunny with the results from what he found from the samples that she gave the hospital. And he found something really, really interesting. His team found human cells in this gelatinous stuff that came out with the rain. It was human cells from white blood cells. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So obviously, Sunny was worried about caring for her mom, Dottie, over the course of the next few days. However, within these days, she had been sending out many, many samples to different places. She sent samples out to Department of Agriculture, which she called, oncology, and the weather people. She wanted to contact them too to see if they knew anything. So far, the only thing she got back was from the that one place. And she finally sent a sample to the Department of Health of Ecology to this Mike guy. So their kitten was found on the deck the next day by her brother. Now, mind you, Dottie's home was a farm. She gardened, she canned, made peach pies. Everything was from her land. She had animals. So over the course of, this 24, 48 hours, people were starting to say that their family members were falling ill. Their cattle was passing away. A lot of cats, a lot of kittens, including this one family who found their kitten on the porch.
See, Eric, I knew it had to go back to a cat.
Yeah. And frogs. So she decided again that she was going to bring some of these samples herself, not just mail them out, but go in person to give these away, to see what they could find out, because again, her mother's still ill. So the Department of Oncology, meanwhile, this stuff is being tested, and they still haven't found anything yet, because it takes a little bit. 40 miles away, 40 to 50 miles away, there was these people that said it was jellyfish falling from the sky, pieces of jellyfish falling from the sky. Do you guys believe that?
No, that's got to be released by an aircraft. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. You're right.
That's
how else
funny
would it
to
get
say
up there?
that, because Dottie, the mother who owned this huge piece of land, acres, she was a video taker, and she documents the weather. She just loves the weather. And she was documenting black helicopters that were said to not exist. However, she was documenting these flying over her property weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So meanwhile, miles and miles away, tons of miles away, 40 to 50 miles over there in the Pacific Ocean, our U.S. military, our Air Force, was using our ocean as target practice.
At the same time?
At the same day of the first day, on the day of the 7th.
I can believe that.
Okay, so they bombed the waters, and they're saying that maybe there's a possibility that many miles away that it carried off with just the right kind of weather, that these pieces of jellyfish fell all the way over there.
Nah.
I don't buy that.
Okay, so yeah, with the waters and the rain, I mean, it can carry things. Like sometimes oil ships, oil tankers will have like the oil, and then with the rain and the wind, it'll end up falling in neighboring places. Do you guys remember the brown oily substance they found in California? There was this one guy in particular that had a car lot that he was trying to sell cars, and he was having a hard time keeping them clean because for days there was this brown oily rain.
No, I believe you though.
Yeah, I did a video on that actually. So when the simple is not good enough, we go to the extraordinary. 104 or 103 miles away, there was a couple on the beach in, I think it was called Cala Lock. Okay, right there at the Pacific Ocean, the beach. There was this woman, Kathleen Ballinger, with her and her husband. They were there, and they knew about the Air Force bombing the ocean. Okay, using it as target practice. And her husband was like, with all the fishing issues that we've had, they couldn't believe they were doing that, because their fishing pretty much came to it was no more. They weren't getting any more things to sell for that community. And what happened is when they were on this beach, this man woman, they had seen this jelly-like substance on the beach 104 miles away, and they saw hundreds of crabs dead on the beach. Now, a bunch of dead crabs on the beach is not unheard of. It's not weird, right? But when you're talking hundreds across a whole beach, across a whole area, there's something wrong. So, of course, now they're investigating there in 1994, right? So this woman is documenting all of this stuff from what she's hearing around the neighborhood, the town, the city, the outward, in the media, because of course your media's got this now. Hi, Kitty. Hi, TH2. So the media's got a hold of this now. And she decides that she's going to bring a sample to this man, Mike McDowell. And Mike McDowell has two sons, James and Dan. And the military would call him and bring samples or pick up things from this man from time to time. Okay, so he's very used to working with the military. So he gets a hold of these samples, and he also found human white blood cells in the samples. Now, some of the places said that they did not find that. The human white blood samples that this man found and other people later found comes from the human intestinal tract.
Nice.
Dun, dun, dun. So at this point, the media, again, has a hold of this thing, and they're just going in every direction. In this area, there's planes that go by. Now, mind you, this gelatinous blob stuff that fell from the sky with these rains is like clear. It's white to clear. And some people started saying that it could be from the toilets, from the planes, from passenger planes.
That's what I was thinking, like it comes down like ice or something.
Right. It's an ice, but that's blue.
Oh.
Now, could it have lost its blueness on the way down? Possibly.
Yeah, it's still waste though.
Right.
You know?
But the FAA said no, they don't do that. So they get rid of that at the airports. Now, there's always a chance that could happen though, like by accident, right? Or maybe somebody not following the rules, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, over the course of the next 3 weeks, this did not just happen once. So that rules out the U.S. military and the Air Force miles and miles away doing their blasting into the Pacific Ocean and making jellyfish rain down. This happened 6 times over the next 3 weeks with storms that happened in this area.
Oh, interesting.
Meanwhile, they're again spreading this thing about the toilets and the planes, which, okay, still not ruled out, right? But again, that stuff is blue. And then don't forget about the black helicopters. So one day, the mom's better, by the way, days later, and they were at a place called Soda Fountain. I guess it was like this soda fountain diner place. And a group of men came in and ordered milkshakes. And they were asking, like, hey, have you guys heard about these blobs? They were asking this woman, Sunny. They solely like went right to her. Have you heard about these blobs? These gelatinous rain blobs? And then guess what they asked her next?
What they said, ma'am, or is this? Do you eat a lot of spam or something?
No, they had heard and asked her if there was reports or somebody videotaping black helicopters.
Oh, she didn't even mention it. They're the ones that mentioned it. Wow.
Helicopters. Why do they want to know that? What does gelatinous goo and black helicopters have to do with anything? Like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, these men, they didn't give these people good vibes. And when they left, she ran to the window to get their license plate. And a friend who works at this place said, I already got it. I already got it.
Nice.
So upon giving this to the police, because they want to know who these people are, the license plate was from the military. You ready for this? In Military Intelligence Department, Fort Wood, Texas. Why is Fort Wood up there in Washington?
Testing.
Interesting, right? So
Looking for shrimp.
look at their
Right.
So before I get into this next part, Nixon in 1969, it came to a close where no more of that biological warfare could happen, right? Nationally, like worldly, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, meanwhile, there was this Operation Sea Spray. Do you guys know about that? Because I don't know an awful lot about
Operation Sea Spray? No, I've never heard of that.
No.
Yep. So this results of military biological warfare, BW. There was this germ warfare guy, this Mark Cordo-Peter. I don't know why his name is that.
What? What's his name again? What?
Cordo-Peter.
Cordo-Peter? That does
Yep.
not sound like a very good name to me.
Yep. So, yeah. They were doing something in San Diego. And they were like doing these exercises.
The Peter guy?
Well, no, he was part of it. But
Oh.
there was men and women in military doing
Oh, okay.
exercises on what if there was they were putting things out into the air and by planes to see how they were going to test it. So they would put something non-dangerous out and then see where it landed. In a chance that, in
They
case
could do it.
right, this biological warfare, or if something was done to us, what kind of
Was it the ones that tested the frog theory?
the frog theory, and also there was an anthrax issue, I think, at this time too in these areas. That was actually sent to this Mike guy from that Department of Health.
I think the anthrax and that was they was doing a big campaign back then, saying stuff wasn't harmful, but basically they were just pretty much using the people of San Francisco as guinea pigs.
Exactly.
I know from what little bit I know, I don't think anybody directly passed away from it, but there was a lot of people that had illnesses. People were having like these random urinary tract infections and stuff like that.
Yes.
Look at California now.
Yes, it's San Francisco. Sorry, not San Diego. San Francisco, I think. I do have written down San Diego though.
It's
They said that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was wondering, so was that from the government then? Would that be the government that's controlling all that stuff?
Yeah, and they were also testing and doing drills and doing scenarios like what if situations, like because that at that time was still a very real, fear.
Mm-hmm.
So our own government was like hurting these people.
No, that's unfounded.
Okay.
They would never do something like that.
They would never
I know,
do
right?
something like that. Right.
So there
So
was a lot of big health officials in that area. They said that they never got any notification that these drills or operations were going to happen. But limited research I just found, it said that there was a big uptick in people having heart problems and heart valve failure after this.
And
Oh, man.
pneumonia.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pneumonia went boom.
Damn.
Yeah. Could be just a coincidence, right? We love those quinkydinks.
Yeah. Golly, it's like I didn't know anything about all this stuff.
Yeah, well, neither did I. So, and by the way, that kind of stuff is silent. Not just silent in a way where you can't hear it or see it, but it's really silent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because how would you know? Huh?
Well, yeah, because Nixon closed that off, like worldwide, to not do that kind of stuff. So, these sons of this Mike guy, okay, let me go backwards here to get his name. I think it was Barlow, but I can't remember. His sons, over here, they asked their dad, Mike McDowell. So James and Dan, sons of Mike McDowell, they actually asked their dad, like one day, like this was like 20 years later or something like that. I don't remember. It was not long ago. And they said, whatever came of that gel stuff, like the blob stuff in the rain, whatever came of that. Well, one day Mike went into work and he discovered something, or rather didn't discover something, because this had been bothering him for like decades. And he went to his supervisor to ask what happened to that blob sample. Okay. She said, don't ask any more questions. There was men in black, I'm just going to say that, that came and picked it up, and they're not to speak about it anymore.
Mm.
His samples were now, and they were the last samples, by the way. There was no more samples that anyone has unless they're not saying anything. But these samples were taken out of the lab to not be questioned. They're now property of whomever, okay? Whomever.
Man, you did a great job of researching all this stuff.
Well, thank you. So he did say something to his sons that they remember, and he repeated again when his sons asked him. When Mike was working on this stuff, he called this gel-like substance an envelope, like a matrix envelope that could carry something from one place to another.
Yeah. And weather balloons. Or
That's
spy
funny.
balloons that may come from other countries.
You're not the only one who's mentioned that. Not in these articles, but
yeah,
I've heard it today a lot, actually, that question. So yeah, this Mike man from that Department of Health, why is the Military Intelligence Department from Fort Wood, Texas, at a diner asking about gelatinous blob rain in the same sentences with asking about who's seen the black helicopters? This matrix envelope, this gelatinous goo, why is it that some people tested for and found human white blood cells, that bacteria that would be in the human digestive intestinal tract?
Sounds like they were experimenting on us or something.
Well,
you know,
I'm going to tell you guys my silly first thought when I caught wind of all of this, okay? My first thought was like that movie, War of the Worlds, where those alien ships and the people were in the
sprayed
basket.
out the stuff. Yeah.
And then they were like spraying it out. That
Mhm.
I won't say the SG, the Soylent stuff. And please don't put it in chat. But I was thinking, like, as like this alien goo, like, you know, they were fueling the ships in that movie, right?
Was that the one with Tom Cruise in it?
There was an old one from the 60s or 70s, and then yes, that one.
Yeah.
Like the maybe it's like extraterrestrial or something.
I don't know. Why does it have human white cells that are found from an intestinal tract with bacterias that
Because mankind is involved. And when he's involved, you can't do anything.
Yep. Man-made.
Trust nothing.
Yeah, no, you can look up Operation Seafoam, and of course, there's a lot you can't find, but the limited stuff they provide for you, it tells about a lot of different testing that was done, different places of the country around the same time. You even have what was like in the 50s and 60s, the government was busting light bulbs in the subways of New York City to spread the bacteria out and see how it would go. They even did the same thing at a Greyhound, one of the biggest Greyhound bus stations on the East Coast in D.C. They let a bunch of that stuff go onto the buses and just let it traverse out through the country to see what would happen.
Oh, goodness.
Who was behind that one? What?
Let me pull up the exact date. Give me 1 second.
Okay, thanks.
While he's looking, so upon my research, and I had help from TH too, for hundreds of years. Now, I heard about this native thing, but I wasn't sure how far it went. So for hundreds of years, people worldwide have reported strange blobs of goo, which appear in their gardens overnight before dissipating quickly. Due to their mysterious nature, these substances are known as star jelly. Star jelly. Imagine that. So you guys, this gets so weird. The star jelly is a gelatinous substance usually found on grass, branches of trees, whatever. It's like described as like a watery jello. It's gelatin, like jello. And it comes in different variations of clear, purple, green. Some call them astral jelly. Moon excrements, okay? Star lime. Now, again, here in 1994, and here we are in 2024, people were saying it might have come from the plane toilets. Well, get this. Planes did not exist in the 14th century, documented by John Gaddesdek, Gaddesdek. That's the man's name.
Uh-huh.
He had documented that these things could treat abscesses and minor wounds, this gelatinous stuff. 1846, a 4-foot ball of glowing glue fell from the sky in Lowville, New York. The impact site was covered in smelly, bright jelly, which quickly evaporated. Almost a century later, in 1950, 4 police officers from Pennsylvania discovered a dome-shaped disc of quivering jelly. This mysterious blob measured 6 feet in diameter and 1 foot thick in the center. The substance evaporated when the officers tried to pick it up, leaving behind a sticky residue.
What year is that? Like
that year was 1950, and before that was 1846. A documentation from a man named John Gaddesdek. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, in 1983, a grayish-white gelatinous substance fell from the North Reading, Massachusetts sky, and it was found in various locations such as streets, people's lawns, sidewalks, even dripping from gas station pumps. Can you imagine going up to the gas station pump, going to do gas, and you got like this gelatinous goo on your hand?
That's normal around here.
It's like, what do you do? Just like use it as hair gel? I don't know, guys. I mean, this stuff it just gets weirder and weirder.
You know what it's from, don't you? It's not from airplanes.
No.
You know, cleaning out their toilets. UFOs have to dump every once in a while.
Right? We don't know, because this, I'll tell you, this is still in now it's in my lake files, but this is still in files across the world. UK was actually even interested in what happened here, because Europe has had issues too. So it's not just us.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big incident of that in England in 2012. I forget the specific city, but it was similar to the story that you told from Washington State.
Oh, really?
There was in 1977 they had a judiciary committee where members of the military announced that between 1949 and 1959, almost 300 biological experiments were released. And that's just the ones they're reporting on. And we know they did more past 69, but that was just information from a meeting they had then.
1969, there we go again with that 69, where that took place, where certain things weren't allowed anymore.
And the one about the bus in Washington, that was May 1965, and it was called Bacillus globigi, and it was released at Washington's airport and Greyhound buses, and it said that the airlines and the buses went out to 39 to 40 something different cities.
Wow. And it's kind of like, you know what it reminds me of? It was like with because I don't know how far back this goes, but with like Project Paperclip, where they brought all these Nazi scientists back from World War II, gave them jobs in America, right, for the American military and all that, and how back when they've probably been running experiments on us this whole time, like for example, like what they did in World War II, experimenting on human beings and seeing what could happen to them, etc. So I think they did on troops too, like for the atom bomb, where they were like wanted to see what would happen how close they could be to the atom bomb or something. So I don't know. I mean, I don't trust the government, so I'm not surprised.
A lot of those tests and experiments, you've seen a big surge after World War II. Like you said, they got all those different scientists and people together. That's when you really started seeing a big uptick on stuff like that.
Yeah, you know a lot about that stuff. I always love talking to you for that reason, because I know I can depend on you for having like knowledge on that area, among other things too.
I appreciate that you appreciate my dependability.
Hey, Lake.
Are you guys familiar with a science
Lake?
time? Yeah.
I have to leave. I have to take my father to an appointment.
All right. Much
I'm
love.
sorry. Love you too. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, I know what Eric looks like now.
I know. I found out the other day too.
So there's the Science Times, okay? And they've been researching this stuff. Not this stuff per se, but let's just say some other kind of gelatinous scoop, okay? This blob, this brainless single-cell slime mold sent to space. They sent it to space. This happened in like August 5th, 2021, to be observed in a microgravity. Why would they do that? So on board the unscrewed Cygnus spacecraft is the latest series of the space science experiments that will be launched in a fortnight. Not the game. So these experiments include fake muscles and 3D printing projects and, just different things. So this brainless slime mold, do you guys know that it
Sounds like Biden.
you guys remember the movie The Blob, right? That movie scared the pee out of me when I was little. The Blob.
Vaguely. It was kind of like the Blob, I guess, huh? Like
us kids used to play that game. It's the Blob, and we'd all have to run. It was like ridiculous.
You started started talking about space, it made me think about the movie that came out a few years ago called Life. When they found this, they were at, I guess it's like the International Space Station, and they brought back this sample from Mars of like this gooey substance, and once they put water on it, it reanimated it. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, but it's kind of sounds eerily similar to what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Well,
it's weird.
There's a lot of stuff in movies, like we've mentioned a lot of movies like The Blob and War of the Worlds and
The Thing. Remember The Thing?
The Thing. Yeah. It could be like predictive programming, like where that's all like there's some truth that they do in plain sight, so it might be connected somehow.
Oh yeah.
Maybe so. Hi, Carson. I don't know, guys. It's not just like, it's like the past 2020, 2018, 2016, 2024, 2022, 23. It's like if you go back to like the 90s and the 40s and even like 1905, 1800s, there's been odd, weird happenings of things that have been documented. There's people that are just documenters by nature. They leave paper back or stone to tell us things. And I think that just like the Bible, where we go back into the Old Testament, where it was foreshadowing, Jesus, I think we need to do the same thing with stuff that's going on today. This stuff, I'm not saying it made people ill, but it was awful odd and mysterious that so many people and animals, including cattle, everything from cattle to kitties to frogs and crabs, became
or doggies playing with squeaky toys.
What? Oh, Danny's playing with Squeaky. Every day when Bigfoot comes home, she runs and uses the house as a racetrack to show, first she goes and greets him. There'll be no other human being more excited to see you. But a dog will just be so excited to see you when you come home.
Yeah.
Then the racetrack, the zoomies hop in, and then the squeaky toys. Mm-hmm. And then they lay together in the recliner.
Do they find anything else that gives a clue other than like the human DNA and that stuff?
There is bacteria found. They don't know. There's a couple of them. I don't remember all the names of them. Like I said, I did have like 9 tabs up here. I had to get rid of them so that way the stream could like hold together.
You know what it reminds me of too is I saw this movie like not too long ago. I forget what it's called. It came out like maybe a year or two ago or something, relatively recently. And in the movie there was like an asteroid, bam, this thing hit, and then there's like this little there's these scientists in these suits that went out to take a look at it, and they had like the hazmat suits or whatever they got special for that. And then this one of the lady scientists, she realized there's this little plant that kind of was just sprouted in there. So she picked it, brought it back to her lab or whatever, and then inadvertently she ended up saving this whole alien invasion thing, and it started like taking over the atmosphere and changing it to like this big old tree thing, and then they tried to like shoot it with missiles and stuff, and it had this like a kind of a dome defensive system it brought up. But I guess what I'm saying is that like a lot of these movies, there's a common thread that were it's something about changing DNA and all that sort of thing. So maybe it's pure speculation, but like what if like the droplets were designed to prepare our DNA for some changing environment thing, or to make it more hospitable for a different life form or something?
Mm. Well, there was another question that arose this afternoon, like about 3 hours before we went live. The question was asked, do these cicadas and this gelatinous goo stuff, are they related? And I'm like, I didn't really think of that. Like, just because I'm doing a thing today on cicadas and this goo. I never
Maybe.
really thought about the two coming together. You know what I mean? Like Swiss cheese.
Who knows? Maybe like if it was, maybe it would be to like to make us impotent too. You know what I mean? So that like it kills off like our regenerative abilities as a species or something. You know?
Well, I don't mean to go here, but Bigfoot's home now, so I can get, in trouble. But like, I really hope this doesn't spread to other animals and people, because this particular fungus with the cicadas, you guys remember what I said about that, right?
Well, look at it this way. What are some birds that are on the ground that don't fly away that would be eating these things?
Ostrich,
Chickens?
Chickens. And they're already setting up juice for your arm for this.
Yeah, it's type A and B.
They're in the next 6 months they're talking about another mandatory, juicing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of the bird flu.
Right. So type A is bird. Okay, there's influenza A and influenza B. 1 year, my two younger daughters one got A and the other one got B. I'm like, how? They live in the same house, but I wasn't thinking. They went to the same campus, but two different buildings in school. So one got A, one got B. Your influenza A is your bird, avian flus. Your influenza B are your swine flus. Right.
I think it is.
So A is your avian, and that has a bunch of different, because it, help me with the word, it mutates to survive. And then it starts dumbing down. They're supposed to dumb down. Then your bees have their mutations and they're supposed to dumb down. But these things want to survive, kind of like this gelatinous goo that they found that wants to survive, or this fungus of this with the cicadas, it wants to survive. So it's going to dumb down, because these things don't want to kill off their hosts. They want to keep their hosts alive so it can stay alive. Right?
Right. It makes sense.
Yeah. And they're testing all different animals in North America.
Mm-hmm.
You already said that it was in the cows. It's in the deer. It's in your animal, your pets, dogs and cats now.
Yeah.
And it keeps going. So, and it's been proven that it can jump to humans.
Right. So now, just today, this is dated though April 9th, but I just got this today and I put it out for you guys earlier. The food safety expert warns against eating certain foods during this time with the H5N1, the influenza A, the bird flu. Reported in Texas last week, remember, with like the milk, and somebody had come in contact with one of the cows.
Yeah.
And they're saying, though, and this news outlet, by the way, was the Irish Star. So, but why would some experts be warning people they're warning against eating certain foods during the bird flu outbreaks?
We've been in this outbreak for
years now.
You remember when we first started doing this? When it was over in China, we were saying it's going this way, and said, oh no, it'd never come over here. It can't make it across the ocean.
Well, this uptick with this certain strain, it came over and it landed in Texas. That's how it got in the United States in the first place. That was the known source. And now again, it's in Texas. Like, why? Why?
It's because of all the shrimp there.
And they're saying this once it gets out into humans, it's 100 times worse than the 2020 thing that we dealt with.
Right.
Which kind of doesn't make any sense because the death rate of it is 10 to 15%. And didn't they say when the 2020 thing, it was like in the 90%?
Mm-hmm.
When they said if you got it, you were pretty much
toast, huh?
Yeah, especially if they put you on a ventilator.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff, though, isn't it?
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what do you think it is? Like, if you had to take a guess and just speculate, why are they doing that? What's their goal?
Like, where does it come from? How did it come about?
All that stuff.
Yeah. I think it even goes back older than that. Like, more, not really, I want to use the word ancient, but I can't help thinking about how long that other gelatinous goose have been here and founded by people of authority, like police officers. How there was documentations back to the 14th century, 1800s, early 1900s. This place in New York, I never heard about that story. This big, huge blob. I mean, all I could think about was the movie The Blob and the movie War of the Worlds. That's all I could think about, is that this was some kind of alienness substance coming from who knows where. And why is it here? Where is it coming from? Those are the questions. I don't really actually have any answers. That's all I could think about, though, was The Blob and War of the Worlds.
Yeah, because there's a lot. You mentioned a lot of versions of it going back in time, so it must be really old. Like I've heard in the Bible, it talks about there's nothing new under the sun, right? And I've talked to people I've listened to videos where they talk about some people have the hypothesis that a lot of things that we have now, like with cell phones, etc., that's actually ancient technology that they had like way back in the day. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's something interesting to think about, though.
Yeah. Hi, Bear and Dexy.
And that's the thing when I
sent you an email.
Do the hoo thing, is why is this medical thing have a budget for its own military?
Yeah, no doubt. That's super weird. Kind of like the IRS of all these guys with guns.
Why does it need it?
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense, huh?
It's weird. Definitely a mystery. What do you think, Watt?
I think I'm not really 100% sure, but just like a lot of things, we think, oh, this is new stuff, or it's the next biggest thing. But a lot of this stuff, has been around for years. We don't hear about it. We finally get glimpses of it. We do research. We find out, like what happened in Washington in '94. Then we dig a little bit deeper and see it goes back. But I think, if there's anything good in this world that God created, there can be a man that can pervert it and make it evil, or make it into something evil,
Yeah, unfortunately. What do you think, Bigfoot?
When I first bought the gel.
Yeah, well, of course, he's trying to go to bed, and I'm exhausted, and I get into bed, and all of a sudden, I'm like,
my first thought was,
I had to talk about it.
Was what they talked about in New York. I thought maybe it was something out of the airplanes, but they ruled that out.
Right, they did rule it out.
The thing that threw me off was the helicopter connection.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
And during that time too, the black helicopters. No, there are no black helicopters. That this Dottie was told. Well, how come?
Who says there's no black helicopters?
Yeah, but then she wanted to know what they were all there for.
They're called Blackhawks for a reason.
Right, but these were these unmarked black helicopters, and she was wondering what they. But she was videotaping these things on the regular. Like, what is that? Like Bigfoot said, what does that have to do with? What does gelatinous spam gel goo have to do with black helicopters? And why were they one?
And maybe they might have been gelatinous because if it was more liquid, it would absorb into the soil quicker or something, and they want it out longer or something, like in that form.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, there was kids that got told by their parents to don't touch it. But these kids were
shouldn't be touching it anyway.
Right, because the ones that did fell ill. But these kids were out there poking it with sticks.
I would have did the same thing.
I know, me too.
I would have been like all over that. My brother and I would have been gathering it by like the gallons if we could. Yeah, not gonna hide that. Now nowadays,
and you were scared of the blob, but you would touch it.
Oh, if something fell from the sky, I'd be touching it. Yeah.
But the blob scared you.
Oh yeah, it was red and oozy, and it was huge, and it like.
You were fine as long as you didn't touch it.
I know. But I would have touched the weird jelly substance that was clear. Yes.
Well, what you were talking about with jellyfish.
Yep.
That has been proven.
Yep.
Because there was a thing on the frogs.
Yep.
Now the only thing is there has to be a way for them to get up there. They just don't magically appear in the sky.
Right.
There's like typhoons that will suck things up into the air.
Mm-hmm.
And you can check and see if that happens. There's been, starfish and different things found way far from the ocean.
Yep. But then I'll remind you, though, over the course of 3 weeks, where they weren't doing that anymore, these starfish and jellyfish and all this other stuff would have had to stay in the sky to come rain back down 6 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think the frogs, it was like 200 some miles they had traveled in the sky.
Yeah,
and it has to be like perfect, scenario where a tornado or a typhoon sucks them up in there, and then there's a I don't know, the clouds make them float, kind of.
So for a 3-week period in August, starting on the 7th, maybe even the 6th, okay? For 3 weeks, 6 more times, the weather would have to be absolutely perfect storm to hold this stuff up in the sky for 3 weeks and only come down when it rained in these 3 storms that they had for a 3-week period. That is some awesome weather.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
and that's the thing, you could track that because you can track after weather happens. You can say, the pressure was at 88.7 and the wind was at this. They can go back and check it. They don't have to guess and say, it might have been this. They can check and see if the weather was perfect enough for something like that to happen.
Right. So if it was just jellyfish, I have a question for you, Bushcraft and chat and everybody. Why, when this man named Mike, who worked at the health department,
Mike Lebowski?
No, Mike McDowell, okay, and his sons, James and Dan, Okay. He was on Unsolved Mysteries in 1997 about this incident. Why, when he asked his supervisor where his goo was, okay, why did his supervisor tell him that men in black came? Suits came and took it. Suits. Black suits came and took this stuff. And
yeah, the questions about the helicopters too. Like, why would they? Like, why would
the
they be asking?
type people who went to the diner. So, but we don't have proof of that. So that's just hearsay. But why is still in all. If it's just jellyfish or whatever falling, maybe something was so far into the ocean that when they were using the ocean as target practice, something went up from the ocean, some kind of odd human white cell intestinal tract bacteria came up, went into the sky, and fell 6 other times over a period of 3 weeks. Why do these people, every single lab that was holding this gelatinous blob gel, why did they go to each place to pick this stuff up? There's no more samples. Why was that important? That's my question. I want to know why it was so important to go pick up this gel. Why do they need it? Like, what was the problem with others having it?
E.T. went splat.
Did you say E.T. went splat?
Yeah. You remember Mr. Potato Head himself? There's a section of Pacific Ocean that they made it a protected area where you can't go to anymore.
Area 51?
No, this is in the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, okay.
They made this area a protected area.
Oh, like the Monterey Bay, like the deep thing right there.
I forget what it's called, but it's huge. It's like millions of acres.
I bet who would know. I bet what's your grandson's name again? Like Decker or what? No, Declan would probably know. Yeah, we should call him. I mean, I didn't. You know what it's called? Like that part of the deep cave.
What part of that ocean you said?
It's in the Pacific Ocean.
What part of the Pacific Ocean is not? People aren't allowed to go there anymore.
It's a protected sanctuary.
Is it called Wake Island?
No, it's not. It's not an island. It's just ocean.
Well,
it was in the news probably a year to 2 years ago.
It's not the Calalock, is it? Because that's where this happened. Okay.
No.
Thank you guys, by the way, for coming out. I know I didn't set this up until this morning, but thank you guys for coming up here on panel and coming in.
Thanks for inviting me.
No problem. I misread the title. I thought it was going to be peanut butter and jelly. I didn't know we were talking about gelatinous blobs.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was PB&J sandwiches.
PB&J sandwiches. That's what I thought too. I love jelly.
You know how you do it is you grab your peanut and like,
right, exactly. I thought it was going to be like how to can nut butter or something. Right?
That's another thing that really you know how like you zoom in to certain points? There was a lot of farmland and whatnot, and this woman made a point of talking about her mom and how important it was to her that they had this farm and how they used this farm to eat and, raise things, and, how she used the stuff on her farm to make peach pies, and how she canned and they were sustainable right where they were at. And then this rain happens and it totally flips things upside down. And that happened to a lot of people in 1994 there. I'm sorry, it just got me kind of feeling that's.
Could explain what's wrong with one of my sisters. She was born in '94. Makes a lot of sense.
I'm actually thinking about today's day and age and things with our soil and our farms and the goings and sayings of people who like to have farms and homestead and can and use their land to provide their family and them things from home. I could be way off here.
Oh, like it's like they're trying to destroy the soil or something, or change it to something else.
Well, there's people, I don't know if it's in England or where it is in Europe, but they put out a thing that they don't want you gardening without a face mask. They don't want you doing anything in the soil without one. So they're strongly suggesting in certain areas that you should not be in the soil without a face mask.
That is so weird because like soil is like one of the most like down to earth natural things. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like when I used to like do it more, it makes me feel grounded and like positive or something. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's so weird.
I think that's why the words soil and soul are so close.
Oh.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? I agree. Yeah, it's very soulful, isn't it? And when you're, it's like there's something calming about taking care of something like a plant or whatever. It's like, kind of therapeutic in a way, sort of like music or other things like that are similar to me. I think cooking can be like that too. I guess if you're preparing a good meal, although unless you're like in a hurry and it's more of a chore, but when you could do it for just sheer enjoyment, you're probably really good at it too. Well, like everybody here, I bet Bush got some amazing meals. Yeah, Eric saw his leg too. All that stuff looks delicious. But how's everything always revolve back to food though? Like every conversation we're in.
I didn't start it.
Right.
I always get blamed for it.
Right. Well, it was like your brain powers were like controlling our minds and saying.
It was that gelatinous mind goo fungus stuff.
Well, it got us thinking about eating jelly or something.
Well, right. It was like that puppet master fungus.
The Muppet Master.
Yeah, it takes over your thinking of.
You know what that reminds me of? Like the other day, we were just talking about Gonzo. Like, you guys know what that is? I haven't seen Gonzo, but there's something.
Yeah, I told you to look at him. Did you not look at him?
Can you bring up? Let's see. Can you pull up an image of Gonzo so we can all look at Gonzo for a minute?
Sure. He was on the Muppet Babies and the Muppets.
It's the one with the long nose, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. There's Gonzo.
It looks like you.
It does not look like me. You think I look like Gonzo? I mean, maybe.
All we see is you.
You don't look like Gonzo.
I can't see frozen. It. Wait, yeah. I know you're right. It's his legs frozen face.
I'm frozen.
Here's what Gonzo looks like, and you pop up your face.
All right, hold on. I had a camera plugged in, and then I undid it. So let me plug that back in. Ay.
I think it's a goo.
I'm not very computer. Just saying.
I may have got in some of that goo.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, you're still frozen. You still have the same look on your face.
Okay, so how about now?
I see your icon.
Okay, so let me go to this camera setting thing and click this and click that. How about now?
It's the same picture.
Am I like frozen in a stupid face too?
You're frozen. No comment on the other part.
Huh. So it's froze.
See what happens when you touch it?
I know, right? So there's some weird connection is unstable. If your Wi-Fi, try to plug it in, blah, 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 blah. All right. So
touch your keyboard, lick your other finger and stick it in the air.
No, I might as well go outside and use a rock to tell you the weather. It's wet. It's raining. Here, let me give myself a wet willy. Do what? Why would I leave StreamYard? Like, okay. So I'm going to leave now. I'll be back.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hopefully this will work. My plan is a success.
Well, you got rid of the icon and the picture.
It's very dark.
It's just, oh, there's the icon.
Oh, there it goes.
Now it's just black.
Icon. It's like a strobe light effect.
Getting dizzy. What's happening?
She's hypnotizing us.
There you are.
Oh, all right, we're back.
There I is. Like I can see. You can see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now is everybody ready to see Gonzo?
I am ready.
Oh, for Pete's sakes.
Oh, that was so worth it. Oh my God. Now I see what they're talking about. That's ridiculous.
I grew up watching this Muppet as an adult and a child.
That puppet is just wrong.
He looks a little concerned. This is Peanut's first time ever seeing Gonzo.
He's definitely been exposed to the goo.
Right. Yep. That poor schnoz.
Oh boy. This was Gonzo with his chicken. I don't know why they would choose
that poor chicken.
No, was it Henrietta? Was it Henrietta chicken?
I think so, yeah. Henrietta the chicken.
I think his chicken was Henrietta. But yeah, there he's hugging his chicken. I knew it. Oh my God. Oh. Yep. Anyways, that is Gonzo from the Muppets.
That should be your icon now, right? Just put a Gonzo up there, right?
You notice how both Kraft and Watt are like completely silent. Oh, goodness, that was good. Hey, Quine, Miss Grace, Journey of Life, CJ. So yeah, if you guys are coming in late, hi Bibble Bibble. If you guys want to go back to the beginning and re-listen, I would appreciate it, because I don't know why yet, but I feel as though it's a little important information to know going forward. It's just, arises awareness and questions. That every unsolved mystery has an answer. We just haven't found it because things are, well, you got to dig deeper. And you can only dig as deep as you're allowed, because if certain evidence is taken out of play, then you don't have all of your evidence to make full facts, right?
True. Very true.
Oh, you gotta see what was going on yesterday with the banks.
Oh no, what happened?
What happened?
Banks went out and bought extremely big amounts of crypto yesterday.
Oh,
90% of the market went through the roof because all the banks went out and bought crypto.
Just like weeks ago, it was, what was it, last week or the week before, it was gold. They took a little dip, Dow in them, and then everybody was buying gold.
Uh-huh.
And now it's crypto.
Wow. Man, they're getting ready for something.
Well, we're at that fringe where it's almost time to get rid of that dollar.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's going to crash. That's what I've been saying.
Well, no, it's not. It's not crashing. The thing is, they have a percentage of people using money, actual, the physical thing.
Yeah.
Once it goes below that, it's not worth to print that anymore. So that's their threshold to go to digital.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah. Well, that would make sense too.
Yeah, because you can't crash everything. If you crash everything, then that, being United States, you mess up the whole world, basically.
I still think it might happen though, because like they're talking about I think I don't know all the details, but like Russia and China are countries like that are trying to take the dollar off of the oil connection, like for trading.
That's the Brexit system.
Once that happens,
that's why the gold was bought the last week.
Oh, that makes sense. They're like,
there's issues with that. You're going to have China, possibly India, Russia, Cuba. There's a long list of them. Who out of those countries is going to be the one governing that gold? You're going to have China and Russia competing to have control of that gold. Which one of those is going to be the one that's going to be controlling it? That's the big issue with the Brexit system there.
What was it called?
Brexit.
That's the name that I just named our lizard not long ago. That is so weird. BRAXUS.
Well, no, I don't think it's spelled that way.
Okay. Well, still, it's kind of odd, right?
I still think it's going to crash. I think it's going to crash, and then the EU is dependent on the dollar. That's going to fold, and so like all
the countries are.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing. You can't crash it, but you can convert
it.
Well, whatever it's called, people are going to be broke, and then it's going to it'll lead to like the digital world currency, I think.
Well, there's a company called Swift, and that's the main one is going to be the world currency, or they're wanting to, which would be all digital. And the thing is, they also have ties into the orbital thing, and if you spit on the sidewalk, your social score goes down, and if you say, "Oh, that president is horrible," oh, your social score goes down. They already have all that stuff implemented in their software.
Have you seen that? I watched the movie Civil War last night. Have you seen that yet?
I plan on watching it later on.
Yeah, it was.
Today's the anniversary of the Civil War.
What an odd synchronicity that is. I must be on purpose, right? And like,
definitely.
Go ahead.
It came out here yesterday.
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. It's like they try to they make it I think they try hard to make it politically correct. So I think when it really does go that way, which it might, because there's a lot of predictive programming in the movies about Civil War, like the Avengers Civil War and this Civil War and whatnot. And so if it does go that route, which I think there's a very good chance it could, because with the economy tanking out hard, and I know you don't think so. I think the dollar is definitely going to crash. What's going to happen is all these people that it'll lead to all the nightmares everyone has of chaos and fighting over macaroni and you name it, all this stuff's going to happen. And so I think they try to portray it in a way where it was digestible without offending anybody, but I don't think it's going to be as clean as the way that they present it. But if it happens, it's going to be something like that, where it'll just be out of control. It's kind of funny that they mentioned that at the same time, like the same time the Obama movie came out, the one that on Netflix where it showed them getting flyers and there's an EMP and all the power went out and it showed all the chaos that went through.
I think it's called Leave the World Behind.
Yeah.
Is that the name? Yeah, Leave the World Behind. Yep.
Slowly gets people not really accustomed, but more familiar with hearing these terms and ways of thinking. It's like, you can't just rip the Band-Aid off. You'll just be hollering and screaming at once. You got to slowly peel it off little bit by little bit.
Right.
So eventually, before you know it,
Right. And I think they're getting us ready for something for a reason. So probably what'll happen is, my guess is there'll be, however you slice it, there's going to be economic turmoil. And then and all this fighting and wars and all this other stuff, or at least these are not rumors of wars. And then eventually that's when it's setting the stage for the guy to come out that says he's got all the answers for everything. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, I got the answer for everything. I got this solved. I'm going to create world peace, and we're going to have this and that. And that's what we're headed towards.
I'm just worried about getting my garden in this year.
That's what
world crap is going to be there no matter what.
Yep. It's really important to save seeds, plant your seeds, start your stuff inside. Go to your local, if you don't want to start inside, go to your local nurseries. Stuff that's been known to grow in your area. Be careful where you purchase.
Ask some questions about where do you get your plants from? Right. And they'll say, "Oh, we get them from this distributor or something." Then I would go to the next one.
Right.
They'll tell you, "Oh, we have our own place over here where we do all of our seedlings."
Right.
That's the place you want.
Things that are flown in or shipped in, you don't know where anything's being seeded and how they're being, what's in the soil, how was it fed, what was it fed with. When you do it yourself, you are more careful, and then you have your own land and your own soil to keep up. You can't control the rain. You can't control gelatinous, mysterious, unsolved mystery goo. You can't control all that. But what you can control is how you can grow yourself the best way that you know how, and learn. Bushcraft family, Lazy Days Ahead, and the Vineyard Chicks family have put out the Survival Seeds 2024. And, I got crying with Josh one day about the seeds and these seed banks, and other countries being after other people's seed banks, and how we even took out a seed bank. I believe it was in Iran years and years ago. And that made me sad. And I was like, that we have to have our own seed banks. So get your neighborhoods and your towns and your friends and family involved and save your seeds. There's people that have been growing for decades who have planted seeds from great grandpa and grandma that were 14 years old and have had success growing them. Now they're trying to keep them. Let's help them do that.
It's this related. You guys probably know about this more than I do, but like, I heard something about like the government had some seeds that were they patented or something, and then
those are the genuinely modified. So yeah, that was what our stream was about that Saturday. We did the it was when you take something natural that God provided and you change it by genetically, bioengineeringly modifying it. That's beautiful. It's no longer natural. It can be patented, and they have patented. We went on to say on how many cabbages there used to be and how many varieties there are today. There's one variety now of this asparagus, from 500 and some odd cabbages, we now have like, I think 40 or 60 something. These numbers are not fact. I'm just putting this out there to show you guys. You can look it up yourselves. There's, what was that seeds? The seed, what was that we put out?
The baby strawberries. Little baby strawberries. Happy little strawberries. I don't know if you can see them.
Happy little strawberries. Yep. I see the flower.
I got to get all this stuff in buckets this weekend. This is my journey for this weekend.
And don't forget the corn.
Yeah, y'all see my corn over there? Look at that.
That's the garlic. The garlic.
It's the Michigan dwarf corn in honor of 101.
That's a good one.
Well, like I was saying on, I think it was Jeff's the other day, that these companies, these seed companies, even the ones in the United States, there's a loophole to where they can put on their labels non-GMO, but they're still GMO.
Huh.
And a lot of these American companies, their seeds can't come from a company in Arkansas that it's being fought in court right now, so they're still in business, saying that they're supplying all these seeds to these other companies at wholesale prices, and then they other companies market them as non-GMO, but they're not.
Right.
Huh. Isn't there like something?
All it is I've been digging a little bit. All they have to do is plant the regular seed the first year, and then the second batch, when they collect the seeds, they muster up the GMO part to it, and then they continue growing the GMO under the assumption that it's non-GMO.
What was that?
Totally legal.
What was that thing where like something about like if you had a farm that has the GMO seeds and it's actually a farm that doesn't have the GMO seeds, but they kind of cross-pollinate with, I guess, the wind or something, then they can't sell the crop, or what was
bees it? Like in Bigfoot, we were talking about that. You have a regular farmer that has normal seeds, and then you have big industry farms that has non-GMO stuff next door. What happens to when the bees go and get the non-GMO and mix it with the regular heirloom seeds? Then and if he collects those seeds to grow next year, guess what? Those are non-GMO now.
Right.
Or I mean GMO.
Does that affect their ability to sell it? Like, because it's like a patent.
Yeah.
Yes. So I put the link.
That's what they were talking about is once that bee gets over there and pollinates that other farm, that clean farm, that big farm tells that little farm, you can't grow no more.
Right.
Because you're growing our seed.
Yep.
And they're saying, no, you didn't. And they'll have records, they'll track the DNA back to their strand of seeds.
Yep. And they tell them that you can't grow those, save the seeds and grow them and sell them. You can save the seeds and grow them, but you can't sell them next year because they're now our seeds, because their stuff went over and infected yours. It's cross pollination.
Yeah.
Isn't like I think what's his name? Bill Gates, isn't he like buying up a bunch of farms and stuff right now too?
Yep, he has been. So this on screen and in chat, that's the live that Bigfoot and I did, talking about the seeds. And
that's probably where I got the idea from, because I probably watched the stream.
I'm pretty sure you were there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep, it's the seeds, the untold story. That's another good one to watch. I cannot stress the importance of having your own seed banks and getting others involved in that.
Well, you're so knowledgeable. I'm not surprised. I learn a lot from you, Lake.
Well, thank you, but I'm still learning things as well, because
everybody should be more worried about the seeds and the farms more than
your politics and things.
Or the shit hitting the fan.
Eclipses and boats running into bridges and everything.
Yep.
Because we'll rebuild that bridge, but what are you going to do when the certain cabbage is gone? It's gone forever. You can't recreate it. The only one who can recreate it is God.
Exactly.
Especially considering 94% of our seed bank's been lost in the last 100 years.
It's now 96 or 97% of our crops there's no more seed to be planted from those anymore. That's a lot. That's a lot. What happens when we get to 100%, people? I mean, think about that.
Yeah, go back like 300 years or 400 years. Some of the plants that may have been there, that we, just a normal vegetable, that it's gone. It's never going to be around anymore. And it's like an animal going extinct. It's gone forever. But there maybe there's like a picture of it. It's like one of these movies where they show, oh, this is what it looked like in the past, and oh, what is that? That's a giraffe or something like that. That's the way it's going to be with our vegetables.
Oh, you mean, yeah, that goes back to what's more believable when you don't have a picture. All thing you can do is tell people about it. What's more believable? A long-necked, spotted, two-horned, fat-bottomed, 40-foot tall giraffe, or a unicorn, a horse with a horn? Which one are you going to believe?
Yeah.
Seriously. The cheetah spotted, 40-foot tall animal that's fat-bottomed with a long neck and a black tongue. Is that more believable, or is a unicorn a horse with one horn?
It's kind of like Noah's Ark too, right? Like why he saved all the animals, probably because they were being like his family was like the last of the original seed of of humanity, right? Untouched. Yeah. Kind of like the animals were probably being changed by the Nephilim and all this other stuff too. So I wonder if they had plants too, like, on the ark.
Well, God made sure that certain things got on the ark and certain things didn't. I mean, you got a man that God spoke to, Noah, giving him directions on exactly how to do this, to build this boat, which it took years to build this boat. The whole while he's doing it, people are just laughing and calling him crazy because, like, there's a flood coming that they've never seen rains like that. They've never seen it. So they thought the man was crazy until God poured it out, because what they were doing was so bad.
Just don't watch the Russell Crowe version.
Oh, it's terrible.
No, you have to go in and read your Bibles. Watching Noah's Ark is not biblical completely. No, it's not. Right?
Yeah. Little elemental guys that exploded when they sacrificed themselves.
Oh yeah. I think, like, that's what I think it was. That's why they had the animals there. Because, like, what I read is that same thing about why angels were taking, I'm trying to find a polite way to put this, but taking human wives as human women as wives, and then having offspring with them. It's they did the same thing with animals, making all these weird mutated animals to destroy that seed as well. So it just kind of seems like it's going along with the same thing with the plant seeds and all that. It's all about the DNA, like our DNA. They're trying to change it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Think about when all these cicadas come out and both of these two different varieties mate, and now you've got a whole different hybrid that'll be, popping up in the next 13 or 17 years.
Carrying a virus, a fungus that is a zombie fungus that is a puppet master. It's like a vine growing within inside the cicada as a fungus that takes over their brain to make them hypersexual, and it also has males mimicking other females to make the other males get attracted, thinking it's a female. That to me is really weird.
Yeah, totally weird. So bizarre. Yeah, as in the days of Noah. And Gillette, I was thinking the same exact thing. Yep.
So there is something that we gotta go do. So we've been live for 2 minutes shy of 2 hours.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, what?
That's a long 2 minutes.
Oh no, 2 minutes shy of 2 hours. Yeah, I started at 3:10. I would love to have like more conversation about this, and I encourage you guys to, like Bushcraft or whoever, like, to continue asking these questions and putting this information out to other people, because I don't own, this information. It can be researched, and I'm sure y'all can find out a lot more. But Bigfoot come home a little bit ago, and there's things to be did, and
thanks for having me up. Appreciate you.
To be made.
In other words, get the hell out. You guys are getting 86, right?
Yeah, we've got some really.
Take a hit already.
Right now, the wind and rain is going sideways. We've got lightning hitting about 12 miles away now.
So what exactly are you trying to say? I was kidding.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to leave here.
Yeah, exactly. Right? What?
It's been windy here all day, man. Right. Good tight flying weather.
Yeah. We've had off and on, like, sprinkle to mist to no rain to torrential downpour.
And the lake's frozen again.
I'm frozen.
Yeah.
Just like the movie.
Oh goodness, yeah. Our internet is wonky. We got the new stuff, and now it's still wonky. So I don't know what's going on with it. All right. Well, you guys all have a very awesome, God bless afternoon and evening. But yeah, I gotta go.
All right, bye. Appreciate you. Bye, Watt. Bye, Bush. Bye, chat. Good night,
Thank
Moon.
you guys for all coming out, and thank you guys for coming up. I appreciate you guys all very, very much.
And we appreciate you, appreciate us,
Definitely.
appreciate you.
Research your own stuff.
And you're still frozen.
Still frozen.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Okay, Beavis. All right. Much love to y'all. Have a great night.